we're back in the car again together. It seems I enjoy riding with y'all. I do. But today is Thursday, my first time out in a week. Roads are clear. We're hitting 60 degrees. So what us Southerners called the Snowmageddon, Icemageddon, it's gone. And after seeing what you guys deal with up north, we're like a bunch of little whiny babies down here. But I'm gonna tell you what, y'all are just amazing. You know, when Bud and I showed our video of preparing and then, you know, the results, y'all were so kind, knowing that, let's be honest, we're wimps, okay? But since this is not normal for us, and we don't have the infrastructure or the road crews and so forth, you know, it was detrimental. But if you want to do a side-by-side screenshot, yeah, y'all tough. Y'all some tough folks, I'm going to tell you. Because I'm like, Lord, why was I whining about all of this? But I appreciate y'all, understanding that this is not norm for what we just went through. And I thank you. You know, you guys are just amazing. Not one comment was said, well, you should have 25 feet of snow, or you should, none of that. You guys just rocked it out. But I'm sure y'all were like, y'all ain't seen ice. Y'all ain't seen snow. Guess what? You're right. But none of you put that in the comments, and I was like, I got the best friends in the whole world. But anyhow, it's all going away. We're looking at rain next week. 4 or 5 days straight, y'all. And I'm like, oh, yuck. I don't want rain. That means I'm quarantined again. I don't like being quarantined. I'm ready for spring, which is going to come upon us in, probably within 6 weeks, I would think. So I'm just going to be optimistic and say, spring's around the corner and I can get out. Because I'm not just going to be like running around the yard at 60 degrees, 65 degrees. That's still a little chilly for Lippy. But I'm headed to the post office to mail y'all's orders. And I'm glad y'all understood that too, because I was a couple of days late, but I couldn't go anywhere. So I'm headed to the post office. I'm headed to the dry cleaners to drop off Mr. Buddy's monkey suit attire, the dress pants and the shirts that he has to wear when he goes to his meetings. So I'm going to take y'all along with me while I make those 2 stops. While I make those 2 stops. And then I am going to run into the store because there is 4 things that I must have. Buttermilk, milk, half and half, and some bread. Yep. I'm not completely out of half and half, but I do have to get some milk and some buttermilk because I've got to make him some biscuits for his breakfast. And this little part right here that I'm on feels a little funny on my tires. The road looks good. Lord, I got both hands on the wheel though. I'm not going to talk with my hands off the wheel. Well, I'm not going to promise you that I'm not, but I'm going to do my best. Both hands on the wheel. 9 o'clock and 3 o'clock. I'm set. I'm good. But what this video is really about is a confession. Yeah. I don't know, y'all, but something has happened in the last 2 months with me personally that has made me see myself through my viewers' eyes, if you will. Y'all are my friends, but let's face it, y'all are a viewer. I am a content creator. And I've known this about myself for a long time. Well, for as long as I can remember. I'm kind of a square box, friends. I'm really a square box. And I've avoided showing y'all some things that you will see in this video. Many of you, for about as long as I've had a channel, but especially some of you new ones, and I'm so glad you've joined the Lippy train, want to see my cabinets, or some of you call them cupboards. I think I'm pronouncing it right. Forgive me if I just like jack that up. Cupboards, but we call them cabinets. The kitchen drawers. You know, basically what my organization looks like. Okay, my kitchen. And I didn't dismiss it, no, but I avoided it. Because you see, I've been sharing my feelings and speaking with some of my closest friends. And there's two in particular that does not have a channel, okay, at all. And it was very odd that as I was talking to one, the other one called in and checked on me. And I was telling her what I've been thinking about. And she literally, verbatim, mimicked what the other friend was telling me. And it all came from a place of love. Okay, I'll start that. And of course, my ears was open to hear it and to retain it. One of the words used was sterile. Because where this derived from was, I said, why am I not relatable? And I got to back up because I got an 18-wheeler trying to come out. God bless him. I don't think we give the men and women that drive these things cross country enough road respect. You know, they just can't turn on a dime and they can't stop on a dime. But anyway, I'm getting off track, but that's Lippy. But where this is, my nose itches, where this has come from is, am I relatable? There's been like a disconnect, and it's really been more with some of my newer viewers in the last year. And I told y'all the channel numbers are showing it, and I'm just learning all of this. You know, I think I discussed that a couple of weeks ago. Well, it seems that when I looked at myself on camera, or, after I did a video, I was like, yeah, I am sterile. What it is, guys, what y'all see when I don't mean to move down in front of y'all, but all I got to do is drop these off here. I don't have to walk them in. I love this little post office. Oh, there we go. Now, I could cut this part out, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to let y'all see what I do. I started seeing myself on camera. And I did look like I was sterile. Because every time I do a video, let's say in the kitchen, and that's where we're really going with this. Many of you say, well, everything's just, set up. Well, yeah, it does look like that. Your kitchen's always clean. You don't have dirty dishes. Things like that. Which would make a viewer think that it's staged. Honestly, I know, because I was my own viewer. for quite a few, let's say a lot of my videos over the last few weeks. And that was the best thing that I could have ever done. And I received such amazing advice, constructive criticism that came from a place of respect and love and friendship. And I drawed it in. I mean, I did. I absorbed it because I needed to see myself. We all got to look at ourselves. And I was really sterile. Well, I am sterile. Not was. I'm not changing. But I am sterile. So I said, what do I do? You know what I do? I just accept me. This is me. And the video that, or not the video, but this insert that I'm fixing to insert was probably the hardest thing I've ever done. Because guys, I am a square box. I am so structured that it's crippling. It's just how my brain is. You know, it was funny, we laughed because I'd made a comment and I said, you know, it's one of them was Miss Allison, okay? And I said, she was laughing at me because I said, well, Buddy wants me to ride with him to go to Home Depot, but I told him he had to hold off. Guys, I cannot leave the house unless my chores are done. I call them chores, but it's repetitive behavior chores that I do every day of my life. My bed has to be made. The floors have to be vacuumed, most times mopped. Everything has to be put in place before I can leave a house. I know that sounds very strange, but that is just how I'm wired, you know. But we laugh about it because over almost 25 years, Bud will be like, okay, tomorrow you want to ride with me to Home Depot? So he gives me a 24-hour window because I can't jump and go. I mean, in an emergency, like, yes. But a non-emergency, everyone knows, well, if we got to do something at 9 o'clock, Mom's getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning because she's going to make sure everything is done before she can leave the house. And guys, that can be crippling. I'll admit. And that's basically what I'm doing now is I'm admitting that, not that I'm going to change because, you know, you have to be within your comfort zone, okay? This is my comfort zone. But I'm here to say that what you see is who I am in that weird kind of way. You know, I said something this morning, and I said I view myself as a grain of sand mixed with billions that make the prettiest beach. Well, see, each one of us, we're our own grain of sand. And put together, it's beautiful. He didn't intend on making us all the same. But I really want to tell myself that there's others out there that struggles. I mean, it's a struggle living in that box. But I also know that it can be crippling. And I am going to work really hard at letting, you know, some things go. Things that I know I can let go in baby steps. So life to me is not so crippling and so structured. You know, this could have started many years ago, and it was brought to my attention. You know, all of us are hardwired differently. You know, some of us can have, you know, upside down cabinets and whatever. It's not wrong. It's whatever works and fits for you, see? None of us should judge. But, you know, I asked the question, I don't know when I became so compulsive. And it could have been, and it made sense, that many, many, many years ago, some of you know this, some of you don't, especially our new friends here. You know, at a very young age, I was a teenager when my mom had a massive heart attack. And here I was in high school. I was driving. And what the hell am I supposed to do? She's in a hospital almost a month. Here's my dad. I've got to step up. I gotta be an adult. Not that it was asked of me, but I told myself this. And that started my journey to becoming an adult extremely early in my mind, because of the responsibilities that I put upon myself, and some responsibilities that was asked of me too, because my dad couldn't do it all. So as we move fast forward a little bit, many of you know that I was a single parent. And I had to hold down multiple jobs. By then, my mother had passed. My dad, my sister and I had to pay for a sitter. And it was a lot to chew. So you had to be organized. Yeah, you clock in at 3 different jobs. You're making sure there's 3 meals on the table. You're making sure your daughter is being kept when you wasn't at home. And so I worked my jobs around her school schedule, so I was there. See? So when I look way, way back, I see that just life itself, the way I dealt with it, was to make sure everything was scheduled. Everything had to have a place, because if it had a place, it didn't look scattered out, because that just meant, okay, where do I find the time to handle this task? And like I said, some of you can relate to this, and some can't, but if I'm going to be honest with who I am, I have to start with the one thing that I have struggled with for many, many years. I will say there's only been one perfection. So no, I'm not perfect. I don't strive to be perfect. There again, I strive to just keep everything in place. That doesn't mean that I'm trying to be perfect. So, yeah, this is a whole new change for Lippy. And as the weeks progress, I'm going to share a little bit more and more of how did I get to where I'm at today. Why am I now all of a sudden looking at myself through an eye of a viewer? I like what I see, but I'm embarrassed of what I see. And that has nothing to do with you guys or anyone else. It's because I know this is exactly who I am. I'm not just doing it for camera. I'm not having everything so sterile. As someone said, you can't even make sauerkraut off your countertops. Think about that. So yeah, as I learn to let go a little bit now, and grow, because we grow each day of our lives. The first step is to show something as simple as what's behind my cabinets. And what you're about to see as I go in with the clothes for the dry cleaners is exactly what my cabinets or cupboards, pantry look like when I turn the camera on to film. So for all of you that want to know what's in there, thank you. I did ignore you for 2+ years. I avoided, because I knew in here and in here that I'm too square. That's a good word. I'm too square. So while I go in there, here's the tour of Lippy's kitchen. Behind the scenes, I guess. Behind the cabinet doors. And then when we come back, we'll discuss what my next step's gonna be. Through the eyes of you guys has helped me to take my first step to admitting that I need to improve on a personal level. So, all right, enjoy. I gotta take these clothes in. Here's my coffee station. Many of you only see the corner, but this is what my little coffee station looks like. The cabinet above is where I keep my coffee cups, the coffee filter, and right up at the top is cups that has been gifted to me that I can't part with. This is where I store my overflow tea and my apple cider that I do enjoy drinking in the evenings. This cabinet that sits to the left of the sink is where I keep my dish rags, towels, my grater. And right up here at the top is where I have my drying mats. I use them for excess dishes. Most times is what I lay out for my canning. Here is the back countertop that is always seen in the videos. But what's in the cabinets is what I want to emphasize on, because this is what many of you have asked me to share, and today's the day that I do share this. On the bottom shelf is what we call dip bowls, condiment bowls. I have various sizes of ramekins because I use these throughout the year for just small, puddings, or if I make just a sweet treat. I've also made my shepherd's pies quite often in these. Here you will find some old glass containers with a snap-on lid. Most times I use those to put pickles or relish or something like that, depending on what the meal is. And at the very top, you'll find just some bowls, various sizes. Now here's the main two cabinets. And this is just where I store our dishware. And at the top, mixing bowls. It's just very simple. As you can tell, white is my chosen color. And these are just the old Corelle dishes. Nothing fancy. I have the Corelle platters, the mixing bowls, and the dinnerware. And also, you cannot have a kitchen without redneck china. Moving over from the stove to the toaster. Let's see what's in this cabinet. And here you will find just our drinking cups. We keep our plastic on the bottom, and when there's quite a few of us here, we will use the solo cups in various colors because we can write our names on them. But there is the glassware, and there is the travel cups. Let's look above the stove. You'll find our toothpicks and our Crisco. To the other side is where I keep oil and my sprays. Now we're going to look at the cabinets below, staying on this side of the kitchen. To the left of the stove, this is where I keep our knives. It's just a knife drawer. And I've had these organizers for years. Here's some paring knives. And here's some steak knives. Below that is where I keep our storage containers. I'll drop down so you can see. And that's all it is just storage containers. To the right of the stove is the silverware drawer. And I've never been able to find silverware trays that has ever fit in any of my kitchens. So for about 12 years, I have used these individual dividers. You can get them at a Dollar Tree, Walmart, and that's where I store our silverware. This cabinet below the silverware drawer is where I house our skillets, our hot pads, and 2 of the yellow pots that y'all always see me cook in. And here's where I do all my videoing. Y'all have seen this counter, you've seen the chopping board, but what you haven't seen is the cabinets that's above. So let's look in those. I'm going to open 2 of the cabinets. And this is where I house our soup bowls, my measuring cups, and a few casserole dishes. And over here is just our casserole dishes from various sizes. Those are the only 2 glass casserole pans that I have. And that is plenty. And here is the other 2 cabinets. Again, it's just serving dishes. And as you noticed, a lot of these are extremely old. And I've had them for many years. But these at the top have to be my all-time favorite. All right, now let's go below. We're going to start underneath the kitchen sink. I just keep the sanitizer spray in a basket. There's my dish soap. I have a little basket that holds my cleaning brushes and gloves. In the back where you see the orange caps, that would be various furniture polishes and oils. I do have a couple of containers of Old English. And then in the very back to the right, behind the Comet, that's where I house my Pine Sol, Windex, things like that. But my main 2 cleaners are in these glass bottles. We'll start with the drawer. This is where I house just the random utensils that I use. I do have a set of tongs here. It's just various utensils that I use in the kitchen. Here is where I store those stainless steel mixing bowls that y'all see me use a lot. Various sizes of strainers. Down at the bottom, you'll see that I have my rolling pins and just various plastic bowls. Now let's look into these 2 drawers and these 2 cabinets. This is where I have my serving spoons, my garlic press, my measuring spoons, some measuring cups, my basting brushes, and then back here is my grandchildren's first spoons that they used, and I do save them in case company shows up that has little ones. These are a new addition. Miss Debbie actually made these for me. They're jar openers. I didn't think they were going to work well. Was I wrong? Yes, because these have saved my hands. And then there's my dough scraper. So that's what's in this drawer. Now everyone has a junk drawer. This is what I actually call my junk drawer, but really it's not junk. I have a lot of chopsticks here. I use them for canning. I have labels. There's my pens and markers. A regular pair of scissors. I have meat scissors, and look y'all, they make left-handed meat scissors. Yes, this was a gift from CG about 2 weeks ago. Because you remember I was cutting that spatch chicken with a knife because I can't use right-handed meat scissors. Well, they make left-handers. She said, look on Amazon. And these are just my silicone spoons and scrapers that you see me use. Now in this drawer is all of my bag clips. anytime I find hangers, or anyone that buys clothes and you see these little clips on the hangers, I bring them home and Bud cuts them off and I turn them into bags, bag clippers, just all sorts of things. So when you find those hangers in stores or you've purchased pants, don't throw those hangers away. Cut the clips off. I've been doing this for years. Now here's the cabinet below those drawers. And I will bend down. This is where I store my pots. Now behind this one, if you can see, those are extremely large pots back there. I do have to get help to get down there and get those. But this is where I house all of our pots. All the way down. And like I said, in the very back on the bottom is the large stew pots. Now this is just where I keep my dry goods. This is where I house the freezer paper, the freezer tape. I have cookie cutters up here. All of our full Ziploc bags. Mainly baking to the left. Ginger, nutmeg, allspice. Here's some extracts here. And that gray tote is sprinkles. We move down. Dry seasonings. All the way. And you'll only see my browning liquid that I use sometimes. And I have one store-bought seasoning, and that's everything bagel. I don't buy pre-made seasonings. The next shelf down is my full throttle, all of my personal spices. There sets the hot sauces. Then you're going to get to the honeys, the syrups, peanut butter, things of that nature. This is where I store our grits, my crock pot, and then all of my silicone mats. Let's move to the last shelf, and this is where I keep my muffin tins, my racks, pizza pans. On the floor is where I keep the paper towels. My aprons are in the back, coffee, vanilla extract, vinegar, an empty oil container because that's where I pour all my old oil in so I can tape it up to dispose it. And I have my blender sitting here because I use it quite often. So this is the pantry. And on the side of the pantry walls is where I have a lot of utensils that I use in the kitchen. I had to come up with a way to store them since we have such an extremely small galley kitchen. And this is one side of the wall. And on this side is where you're going to see measuring cups, small funnels, sieves, all the way down. Trying not to make y'all dizzy. Here we go. Almost to the end because it's hard to get in this little corner here. And that's what I put on this side of the wall. I had to come up with something else. There again, I don't have the space. So I took a over-the-door shoe holder, the clear pockets. So I have my gloves, the straws, the electric knives, a few dry seasonings that I do use, a whisk. I keep my cheesecloth here, the pizza cutter, the can openers. Right here is our 2 soup bowl cozies that was made. Reusable Ziploc bags. There's my new label maker. My electric knife sharpener. And in this bottom, I have a couple of meat thermometers and a universal screwdriver. But there again, this is how I stay organized with limited space. Now, some of y'all have seen my china cabinet, depending on which video I've sat in front of it with. But I also needed more storage. So let's look down in the bottom of this cabinet. This is where I house my springform pan, bundt pan, a serving tray, my 2 glass pie dishes, a metal 9x13 baking dish, just some little odds and ends in there. There's a butter dish. On the second shelf is where I have my bread pans of various sizes, as well as baking pans, square and round, and a couple of glass mixing bowls. Now we're going to walk into the main pantry. I don't like to get out of my 5-gallon buckets, so I took this stand that we had in a closet, and what I did was I used my containers to stack on this stand for easy access to my sugar, baking sodas, baking powders, rice, tea bags. Let's see what we got. Cornmeal, some seasoned flour that I do mix up. The second shelf is the self-rising flour, all-purpose flour, bread flour, and then here at the bottom, brown sugar, my pancake mix. Let's see, we have pickling salt, confectionery sugar, cornstarch, but I buy my cornstarch in bulk, and I just use this cornstarch container because anyone that needs it knows, hey, that says cornstarch, but that's not the brand that I use. So yeah, this has worked out really good instead of me always going to the 5-gallon buckets. Well, that was painless. I love this little girl at this cleaners. I really, really do. Such a sweetheart. We were talking about the roads. Although they're, they're fine, but right off the sides, there's still a little bit, which is odd, why we'd still have little ice pockets. I don't understand that, but we were talking about these crazy drivers. I mean, people ain't got no sense. But anyhow, there is the behind the scenes of Lippy's kitchen. And it's been difficult trying to organize in such a very small kitchen. Now, some of you ladies have come and visited. So y'all can contest that it's a small kitchen from what it looks like on camera. So I had to do some finagling, figuring out where do I house everything, condense some things, but also make sure that everything was kind of in order and spaced, if that makes sense. So yeah, this was my first step to opening up the doors. And like I said, many of you requested this for a long time, and I see where you're coming from. It's just maybe, to do nothing more than get an idea of how to, if you need to organize something. Maybe that's what it is. All I know is I'm so proud of myself. This was a big step. And as the weeks go and I make another little milestone, well, I'm going to bring y'all right along with it. Because this is big. This is really big. Oh, I got a parking spot right in front. And yes, I'm at Walmart. That's where I'm going to pick up those 4 things without hitting someone. Thank you, sir. So, yeah, I hope your Thursday's going well. Oh, no. Somebody left what do you call them things? The little baby car seat things? Oh, in their buggy. Oh, I hope they didn't get their baby out and then forget they had that in a buggy. Or they might have just left it for someone to pick up. Sometimes people do that. But anyhow, I'm going to go in and get my 4 things, get back home. I don't know what I'm going to get into next. I do have some things I need to do in the sugar shack. Big news coming, guys. Big news. So hopefully within the next 2 weeks, I get to share it with y'all. But I hope you enjoyed this video and it gave you a little insight to who I am. So maybe you'll have a better understanding that I don't stage. It's just my quirks. It's just how I am. And we're gonna keep diving deeper into Lippy. Because like I said, in order to heal, you have to verbally say it out loud. Not that there's something wrong with me, but I do see where I want to improve. And I want to learn to let some things go. Because to me, that's just making me grow. You know what I'm saying? Get outside that comfort zone. Don't be the one that's 45 minutes early to an appointment just because you have to be in control and make sure you're there right on time. That's stupid. That's ridiculous. And if y'all are one of them 45 minutes too early sitting in a parking lot, we got to do better than that. I think we need, they say the etiquette time is 15 minutes prior, or if it's a function, etiquette, no more than 10 minutes late. Yeah, I don't know if I'll ever be able to accomplish that, but I'm not going to be the one that's always 45 minutes sitting in the parking lot or 45 minutes sitting in someone's front of their house and the neighbors are going, oh, what's going on? Why is that car there? Yeah, I don't want to be that person no more. I want to be that 15 minutes, 20, 25 would be good. So I'm going to get my 4 items and get my behind back home and get some coffee. And yeah, thank you. And my new subscribers, because I'm getting some. Ooh, and I'm so tickled. Yeah, I'm just different, honey. I'm just a little different. That's all. There's one in particular. I know she knows I'm talking about her. So, this feels really good. This feels really good. So as always, stay safe, stay well, and God bless. I'll see you on the next one. Bye, y'all.